What do you really believe? Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, why do I think this way? Because most people never do. They accept what they've been told, what they've seen, what they've grown up around, and they call it truth. But truth isn't inherited. It's uncovered. And until you question the roots of your beliefs, they'll quietly run your life like a shadow behind you, pulling the strings. See, your actions are not random. They come from your beliefs, the way you speak, how you treat others, the jobs you apply for, the way you respond to failure. It's all belief. If you believe people are out to get you, you'll keep your guard up. If you believe you're not enough, you'll settle. If you believe life is supposed to be hard, you'll avoid ease even when it shows up. The real prison is invisible. It lives in your mind. It shows up in sentences like, people like me don't get that, or that's just the way I am. But no, it's not. That's just what you believe. This is where Stoicism asks something uncomfortable. Is it true? Can you sit with your beliefs long enough to see which ones serve you and which ones chain you to a lesser life? Epictetus said we are disturbed, not by things, but by our opinions about things. That means the thing you fear most might just be a story, a fiction you've lived in for years. And the scariest part, most of us defend those stories because if we accept they're false, we have to accept that our past was built on a lie. That's a bitter pill, but it's the first real medicine. Your identity, your destiny, your future, it all begins in belief, not in the things you wish for, but in the things you assume without question. Most of those assumptions are borrowed, outdated, broken, and as long as you don't rewrite them, they will rewrite you. So let me ask you again, quietly, honestly, what do you believe? And is it really yours? Why not you? Do you ever feel like greatness belongs to someone else? Like success was assigned to a certain type of person, and you just weren't picked? It's strange how we do that, how we silently accept that others get to live fully, while we just survive. But let me ask you something that most people never stop to consider. Who told you that you couldn't be the one? See, somewhere in your past, you started shrinking. Maybe someone made you feel small. Maybe life hit hard, and you thought, this must be all I get. But that thought, that quiet resignation is where most people stay. It becomes their ceiling, not because of lack of talent, but because of lack of permission. Self-permission. The truth is, every family, every generation has one person who decides, it ends with me. The fear, the excuses, the silence, the settling, it ends now. But that role isn't assigned. It's taken. It's chosen by whoever's willing to carry the weight. Not the most gifted, not the most confident, just the most committed. And if you're waiting for a sign that you're the one, the question isn't why you. It's why not you? Why not be the first in your family to heal, to build, to break free? What makes you believe someone else is more worthy of that than you? Comfort loves company, and the moment you try to rise, people around you will try to pull you back. Not because they hate you, but because your growth forces them to confront their own stagnation. And most people would rather keep things familiar than face change. This is why you can't always talk to people who think small. They'll tell you, just stay here. Be realistic. Play safe. But deep down, you know safe is just another word for stuck. So I'll ask again. And this time I want you to feel it not in your head, but in your gut. Why not you? Are you willing to pay the price? Have you really asked yourself what it's going to cost? Because everything worth building, peace, strength, freedom has a price tag. And the price is always personal. Nobody else can pay it for you, not your parents, not your partner, not your friends. You, only you. Here's the part most people don't say out loud. The better life you want will cost you your current one, the version of you that's comfortable, familiar, predictable. That version can't go with you where you're headed. You'll have to let go of habits, of people, of the part of you that needs to be liked more than it needs to be free. And here's the truth, change doesn't always come to you. It comes from you. If you're sitting around waiting for the right time, the right person, the perfect plan, you'll wait forever. There is no perfect moment. There's only now. And now is messy. It's uncertain, but it's all you have in psychology. We call this identity cost. When you try to grow, your brain panics. It clings to the familiar because anything new feels like danger even if it's better. That's why most people sabotage their progress. They're not afraid of failure. They're afraid of becoming someone they don't recognize. Stoicism teaches that discipline is the path to freedom, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. If you can't suffer the short-term discomfort of change, you'll suffer the long-term pain of regret. And regret is a silent killer. It doesn't show up all at once. It leaks into your days, your sleep, your voice. So I'll ask again, are you willing to pay the price? Not in money, in effort, in loneliness, in long nights where no one claps for you, in becoming the kind of person who shows up even when no one's watching. You want better. Fine, but better costs. And no, it won't always feel good. But neither does staying stuck. So which pain do you want to live with? Can you handle being uncomfortable? Do you avoid discomfort even when you know it's necessary? Most people don't fear failure, they fear discomfort. They fear the silence that comes with starting over. They fear not knowing. They fear being bad at something new. So they stay where it's warm, familiar, and dull. But what if the life you want is just outside your comfort? Every breakthrough begins with unfamiliar pain. Growth never feels good at the beginning. You won't get applause for taking the first step. No one's going to throw you a party for waking up early or for quitting the habit you've leaned on for years. And that's the trap we won't reward without resistance. There's a phenomenon called status quo bias. It's the tendency to prefer things to stay the same even when they aren't good. Your brain tricks you into believing that known discomfort is safer than unknown opportunity. So instead of making a change, you make excuses. Stoicism sees discomfort not as punishment, but as preparation. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And he was right. We overthink pain before we even feel it. We convince ourselves it will destroy us. But most of the time, it just humbles us, sharpens us, strengthens us. The people who live full, meaningful lives aren't always the smartest or most talented. They're the ones who learn how to sit in the hard moments without running. They make peace with discomfort. They expect it. They stop waiting for things to get easier and start getting stronger. Comfort is not the goal. Growth is. So if it hurts right now, that's okay. It means you're doing something new. Something bold, something alive. Stop trying to escape the weight and start carrying it. Because here's the secret. What you call pain today might one day be the proof that you were becoming someone unrecognizably better. So I ask again, can you handle being uncomfortable? Or will you keep trading your future for the feeling of ease? Who must you become? Do you know who you need to become? Or are you still trying to fix the old version of yourself? This is where most people get stuck. They keep tweaking, fixing, and polishing who they already are. Instead of asking the harder question, who do I need to become to live the life I say I want? Because make no mistake, the person you are now isn't built for the next level. If they were, you'd already be there. Real change doesn't start with what you do. It starts with who you are. And identity is more powerful than motivation. You can hype yourself up with goals, with vision boards, with motivational speeches, but if deep down you still see yourself as weak, unworthy, small, you'll self-destruct the moment progress begins. Psychologists call it cognitive dissonance. It's when your actions and your identity don't match. You say you want to be disciplined, but your beliefs still see yourself as lazy. So eventually, your brain pulls you back to what's familiar even if it hurts you. You won't rise higher than the story you believe about yourself. Stoicism teaches that the only thing fully in your control is your character, not your environment, not your circumstances, not even other people's opinions, just who you choose to become in this moment again and again. So ask yourself if your dream requires you to be courageous. When are you going to start becoming someone who makes brave decisions? If your goal demands consistency, when do you start identifying as someone who follows through no matter how you feel? This isn't about pretending. It's about deciding. Every step forward starts with an internal shift. You change your inputs, your mindset, your patterns. You stop arguing for your limitations. You stop rehearsing your excuses. And you build new evidence of who you are becoming. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. So if you want better, become better. Don't chase a new life. Become the kind of person who lives it naturally, daily, quietly, with resolve, not someday, now. Because becoming doesn't happen later. It happens as soon as you stop being who you were.